Monterey, California, only a short drive down the coast from San Francisco, meant our drivers and crews had some time off this week, allowing them to focus on setting up their cars, while relaxing in a beautiful seaside city with its golf courses, aquariums and ocean walks. Or maybe not. They are race car drivers and they are unburdened by sensible life decisions, and so they partied and lived life to the full. Easily done when one of them is a big name in the music industry. Well, not all of them partied. Mazzo's insurer insisted on an eye exam and a new pair of bifocals. Laguna Seca Raceway, a 3.6 kilometre tribute to America's ability to drain a swamp, decorate it, and sell it off as a premier facility. They were victims of their own success, however, and what was wasteland in the 1950s has become prime real estate. Now the local homeowners association has some very strict noise regulations. Noise monitoring equipment was installed, and it has led to the local drivers making some very particular modifications to their race cars. Keen-minded viewers may even be able to discern which side of the racetrack the noise monitoring station is positioned. These noise regulations will not, however, affect our drivers today, as our Ferrari 488s have been specifically equipped with special noise dampening equipment designed by scientists to suck all of the fun out of our ears. 3.5 kilometres of Laguna Seca is mostly unremarkable, as it is basically just a ramp designed to lift race cars 55 metres up into the Californian stratosphere in order to launch them through one of motor racing's most famous corners. That corner was part of a roller coaster that would probably be called the Tower of Certain Death, but on a Californian racetrack it is just known as the Corkscrew. You know it is a very steep descent when the instructions for taking a corner at speed tell you which treetop to aim for. The other corner you will see the most action is corner number 2, the Andretti hairpin, known amongst racetrack enthusiasts as a double apex, meaning there are 3 different ways to attack it. In one bite, taking it wide, or in 2 bites and close. In the third, it leaves you in a cloud of dust hoping that somewhere else on the racetrack someone has done something even stupider and has the attention of all the cameras. The first car to ever win a race here at Laguna Seca was a Ferrari in 1957, and today we hope to emulate that. Race day, the fever of activity in the pits to prepare cars, is not the only drama unfolding. The cars lined up in the grid for the first race of 3 sprints today. Several are noticeably missing at the last moment, including a big name in the music industry. Riggs's crew chief, Jim, was quick to blame mechanical issues. However, DEA agents were seen wheeling several cars away for inspection just before the race. Of those that did make the grid, however, pole position taken by SMC, with Mazzo in the second spot, now his 3rd car for the series, now sporting car number 48. Risquet in 3rd and Rytov in 4th. Rytov's teammate today is K.A. Color, joins the series in the 2nd NASA Italia car. And Edster also joins the series in the black 162 car, while LaForce's car can be seen in the background, still in pit row, while he helps the DEA with their inquiries. Seen from the back of the grid, Mazzo in the grey car makes a fantastic start, and SMC is instantly in familiar territory, staring at someone else's taillights disappearing into the distance. The reduced field all take the Andretti hairpin somewhere between chaos and order, and cold tyres meet hot Laguna Seca for the first lap. first time through the corkscrew, and SMC and Marzo decide to take it together, side by side. They plummet down the other side in good order, and SMC briefly takes the lead before Marzo, his eyes with now perfect 20/20 vision, lock his sights firmly on first place. Risque in third place gives SMC a nudge along the main straight, which begins the day's descent into good old-fashioned touring car racing, as well as the point of driving an exotic Italian supercar. You can't get your elbows out now. Tactic works, however, and Risque takes second from SMC, who as pole-winning driver, now forced to look at yet another set of tail lights beating him through lap 2. Only a little further back, the mid-pack are muscling each other into line, with Colour holding 5th ahead of Reaper, while Strum, who has made his way up to 7th, takes the wide line through the Andretti. Reaper flashes his lights to let Colour know he is going very fast, and then he proves it by missing his braking marker and overshooting the corkscrew. At the end of lap 3, Risque is pushing very hard behind Marzo. Tyres are now up to speed and the drivers know that in a sprint race they will not have many opportunities. This forces Marzo to get defensive, and as the two drivers battle, SMC and Ritov catch up. Did someone mention touring cars? This is where things get sporty and expensive. Braking hard into the Andretti, SMC sees an opportunity, while Risque also sees his chance on Marzo. And Marzo, he probably didn't see either of the freight trains that were about to take the third method of attacking the double apex. Risque managed to hold on and emerged in first place, while Marzo recovers and is left wondering what has hit him. Amongst the carnage unfolding ahead of him, Ritov squeezes into second and hits top gear to tuck in behind Risque. However, 5th gear might have been a better option, as he snaps a slowdown penalty through turn 6, and SMC takes second again along the rail straight. Risque is now clear of traffic, is pushing hard to make clear space between himself and SMC. Fuel is light and tyres are warm. Risque is making qualifying times as he leads the race on lap 4. Stum is pushing Kuller hard for 5th place, Both of them push perhaps a little too hard through turn 6 and make a mess of everything they have been fighting for. However, they pull off a perfectly synchronised rejoin, much to the amusement of Adster and Hayton, who also now enjoy 5th and 6th positions. With clear air ahead of him, Adster quickly makes ground on Reaper, and with time running out, it's time to do something brilliant, or force someone else to do something dumb. But there was little chance for SMC. Risquet had the Humblo Ferrari humming. He was still setting the pace for the entire field. With the timer running down, he was able to relax and bring the red car home safely. and the drama in pit row continues. Risque qualifies, but is unable to start car number 7 to make the grid. After a fantastic first race, he is furious. Instead, Ritov makes pole, which surprise surprise SMC takes up his customary position in second place. Some have begun to wonder if he doesn't know the track very well and likes to have someone ahead to lead the way. For the fourth race of the series, Marzo is in his fourth different car, changing them faster than Rig can say, "That's not mine, officer." Mazzo's crew chief, Jim, says that 39 is a very lucky number for the Italian senior citizen. Adster in car 162 managed a lightning qualifying to take the fourth position on the grid, while Colour takes fifth. Sturm in the Decna 108 Ferrari has 6th place, and Hayden, back in his regular Modena Motori colours, has 7th. Reaper finished race 1 in 5th, but only managed 8th in qualifying for race 2. But with a feel for the track and a taste for life at the faster end of the series, he doesn't plan on sticking around at the back. La Force manages to make the start, driving car number 97 that Lumpa drove in Sonoma, hoping to find some of Lumpa's speed and make up for missing race 1. While Rig was finally able to get his car back from the authorities and take up position on the starting grid. Observant viewers might notice that Ritov jumped the start by a couple of minutes, and a couple of the race marshals noticed also. So they called him in for something racing officials call a drive-through penalty, and mothers the world over call sitting on the naughty chair. While Mazzo had begun to realise that the only reason he wasn't winning races was because of everybody else, so he proceeded to put as much distance away from them as possible. However, disaster had struck in the mid-pack. Sturm's car was engulfed in flames. The safety car was deployed. Sturm was okay, but his race was over. His crew chief, Jim, explained the accident was caused by contact with car 97, which caused something called a net code to fail and a shock absorber or a valve cover. The wreck was cleaned up and the race restarted, and Ritov attempted to get into the pits to serve his penalty as quickly as possible to minimise the damage to his race position. A smiley waved to the race stewards to show that he was really sorry, and he was back on his way, from 1st to 7th, 16 seconds, an annoying amount of time at the start of a race, but a number that was truly punishing by the end. Marzo was in the lead, and the only way to stay out of trouble was to put his right foot down and make some space. SMC, however, was not easily shaken, and the two pulled ahead of the pack at qualifying pace. Marzo was going for broke. He would either lose traction or lose SMC. It took a couple of laps, but traction won. We witnessed a very rare event, an SMC error, which surprised SMC as much as anyone, and he then tried to compound with a very hasty rejoin. We doubt that Colour remembers the point he took second place, as he probably had his eyes closed, thinking he was about to park his red Ferrari inside of a bright yellow one. Colour recovered though to keep second, and Reaper took up station on SMC's tail lights for fourth. Pitrow was now in full recovery mode, and quickly making places back up the field. The force made him work very hard for fifth, both drivers giving a fantastic display of very close, but not too close, action, through parts of a racetrack not known for side-by-side racing. But it was Marzo's day. He had pushed SMC to the limit. He was now 9 seconds clear of the field and loving it. Could have slowed down and driven at a safer pace, but he didn't. Apparently, number 39 is a lucky number after all. And then SMC was back in second. It surprised nobody this time. Reaper locked onto Colour, chased him down, and things got a little bit touring car through turn 9. Reaper was up into third place, and Ritov was closing on his teammate for fourth, lights ablaze to give Colour full warning that he was coming for him next. We then got to see a display of beautifully executed driving between teammates. There are no team orders in the Ferrari Challenge, only mutual respect and complete confidence in each other's skill and judgment. Naturally, it was only a matter of time before one of them screwed it up. Luckily, the slow-motion replay absolved Ritov of blame. He was up into fourth. Meanwhile, it was a lonely drive for Mazzo, just the way he liked it. Still 9 seconds ahead and in complete control of the race. Reaper is holding third, SMC is slowly disappearing into the distance, and in his mirror it's filling up with the fire-breathing Ritov. and then Ritov is passed. A flash of red, and Ritov locks his sights on SMC. He still can't believe he lost first place, and we can't believe that he's almost made it back again. But Marzo just doesn't care. He waves to the spectators, and he tunes the Ferrari's radio to easy listening. Things are not so relaxed in the mid-pack. With only half a lap to go, Hayton puts the hammer down and makes colour work for 7th place. Race 3, last race of the day, and disaster for Risqué. He puts in the fastest qualifying lap, takes pole, and then his car fails again and he cannot make the grid. He packs up his transporter, gives the race officials the bird, and is gone before the race starts. With a more reliable starter motor, we're left wondering what the scoreboard would look like. Such are the joys of owning an exotic Italian car. The other drama in a dramatic day, J-Maz's mum finally drops off the child protege, and nobody is surprised that he goes on and takes Risqué's vacant pole position. A yellow car parks in its customary place. Reaper, in Formula Racing's car 157, takes third, widely applauded by his fellow drivers, while Ritov takes fourth, his blood pressure slowly returning to normal before he goes out and does it all again. Mr. Rigg has an excellent qualifying and takes 5th place ahead of Marzo, who for the first time is racing the same car a second time. He has finally found one he likes. Stum takes 6th, with colour in 7th, Hayton bringing up 8th position. J-Maz makes his presence known by getting a fantastic start. And to the cheers of the crowd, Reaper takes 2nd from SMC, one of the gentleman races, amateur running among the pros. SMC toys with him, as does a cat with a mouse, or the cat eats it alive. Stum takes Hayton at the end of the first lap for 6th place. while Rig takes colour, the Nuzza Italia number 2 car, for 8th. Reaper puts one wheel in the dirt on turn 6, which allows SMC to slide up past to take 2nd. Reaper then overcooks his braking point and puts the other 3 wheels into the dirt also, on the runoff zone above the corkscrew. Marzo now has 3rd and Ritov in 4th, and nature's order is restored as SMC snuggles back into the familiar blankets of 2nd place. Reaper regains his composure to hold 5th from Stum, while Hayton in 6th leads Colour and Rig, who are fighting for 7th place. Ritov in 4th is still reeling from not winning race 2. He latches on to Mazzo, does not let go. Stum gets things very ugly in 6th place, all crossed up and totally out of control. While Hayton demonstrates the well-known but really practiced skill in racing that if you want to miss something, aim right for it. That kind of luck is usually reserved for the drunk or the insane. Take your pick. Ritov continues to hound Marzo. Ritov keeps a very keen eye on the series scoreboard, and he knows that there are only a handful of points between himself and Marzo. Even a 4th place would put him just ahead of the Italian, but 3rd place would give him a buffer. Ferrari 488's brakes overheat in the hot Californian tracks, and Hayton locks his in the Andretti hairpin. Stum is back on through to 6th place. And while we've all grown accustomed to seeing the yellow Ferrari in 2nd place, SMC is conserving his tyres and his brakes, keeping J-Maz in sight, ready to pounce as the laps count down. Stum is less measured and begins his charge on Reaper now, pushing his tyres, risking his talent doesn't suddenly run out. And then he is through to 5th. It is his turn to hold Reaper at bay. This fight will come down to the wire. SMC begins his charge. He times it for the start of the last lap. This fight also will go to the finishing line. And so, for the 5th time, SMC is the bridesmaid, never the bride. But looking at the scoreboard, it really doesn't matter. You are 45 points clear of the field. Drivers and crews now have a 3,000 kilometre trip across the states to Indianapolis, 2 races, Brickyard Speedway. We are expecting a good turnout of drivers, with less off-track action, and even more on it. Thank you for watching Monday Night Racing. That was how we saw it.